everyone, this is Yana Smakula for SimonsSTM.com. Welcome back for another Yippee for Yana video. Today I'm going to show you how you can use your old supplies that you already have, and by these I actually mean coordinating dies or regular dies, in a new and unique way with the help of Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system. Let's dive right in. The Glimmer hot foil system is basically an add-on to your die cutting machine that lets you add foiled effects to your handmade projects with the help of metal, be it etched dies or hot foil plates. I'm going to stop you right there if you think this is like Mink or a laminator and that you will be able to use your laminator foils or your laminator machine in a similar way. You will not. This is a completely different technology, and I'm going to explain everything briefly in this video. I've plugged my Glimmer in, I turned it on, and while the machine is heating up, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is and how you can use it. Today I will be foiling with my coordinating dies. I have this stained glass greeting stamp and die set from last year from Simons Stamp, and I'm going to use it to make a clean and simple holiday card. I will silver heat emboss my sentiment on the card, and I will also add a silver hot foiled outline with the help of a coordinating die around my embossed sentiment. So I'm going to use a coordinating die, but I'm not going to do any die cutting with its help. Instead, I'm going to foil. Let me show you how this is done. I'm arranging the dies, the coordinating dies that I want to use, on my Glimmer hot foil platform. I just turned it on, so it's not yet super hot. This does get hot, not so that you will burn yourself, but once it gets hot, it's best to not touch it just like I did. This machine comes with magnetic tweezers to help you move, position, and pick up the dies off the hot plate, and you'll see me use those later on during the video. So really, you don't need to touch the hot platform for safety reasons. Now, I'm kind of starting backwards here by first using coordinating dies to hot foil the die outline, and you're probably wondering why. Well, I'm doing this because I will be placing my paper on top of the dies, and therefore, I won't be able to see if I have everything aligned or not. I will hot foil first and will later heat emboss the sentiment inside the hot foiled images. If it's not making any sense to you now, it will in a second, so just keep watching. I'm also going to cut my foil. This is Spellbinders Glimmer foil, and I'm using silver. This actually comes with the Glimmer hot foil machine. There's two foils that come with the machine, silver and rose gold. I've cut my foil to size and I trimmed off the edges to prevent overfoiling. It's best to do this so that you don't have foil where you don't want it on your finished project. Think of this as using your anti-static powder tool when you do heat embossing. You prep your paper with its help, while here you need to prep your foil by trimming it and having it slightly larger than your die. Speaking of the foil, this is Spellbinders foil. Mink foil is not going to work here as that is a different kind of foil. And the same with the Spellbinders foil. It will not work in your Mink machine because it is different. Okay, so my plate is hot enough. The second light just turned green. I'm going to press the timer button, place my paper on top of the dies, and foil. Now this system is an add-on to your die cutting machine. So that means you'll need to build a sandwich to send it through your machine to apply the pressure and transfer the foil. This system is meant to be used with Glimmer hot foil plates. I'm not using those today. I'm using dies, and dies are actually thinner than hot foil plates. So to compensate the difference in height, I'm going to add shims to my sandwich. Testing in these instances really helps. I've tested already, and I have found that using 2 sheets of cardstock makes up for a pretty good shim in my case. So I've added the cardstock shims. Next, I'm going to add the 2 plates, or shims as they call them, and they do come with the Glimmer machine. Now, it all might seem complicated to you right now, but once you start using the machine, it will all become much easier. Think of this as using a die cutting machine. When you first watched a die cutting machine video, all of the plates and the shims and the mats and whatnot, you probably felt overwhelmed because it seemed so much. And you're probably feeling the same way about Glimmer right now, but I promise you, it's actually easy to use once you get to know this machine. So to be able to use this tool, you'll need to have a die cutting machine. The final step here is to send the sandwich through the die cutting machine to apply the pressure and back. I'm using my Platinum die cutting machine, and it is compatible with many die cutting machines on the market. Glimmer works with Sizzix machines, it works with Platinum 6 machine. It does not work with the Cuttlebug, as the opening of that machine is too narrow for the plate to go through. Most machines that take steel rule dies, the thick dies, will work with a Glimmer hot foil system. Now let the magic happen. Voila! We have a gorgeous Peace and Joy foiled outline on our paper. Quite impressive, isn't it? Imagine foiling with all of the coordinating dies or regular dies that you have in your stash. There's like a world of options here. By the way, those are the tweezers that I mentioned. There's a magnet embedded in them to help you pick up your dies and move them from the Glimmer machine without burning your fingers. And there's also a silicone cooling pad that you can place those on to let them sit and cool. The next step in our card making process today is to remove the overfoiling. Overfoiling happens when you apply too much pressure, and this is why with the etched dies, it's important to test how many shims you need to add to get those best possible foil transfers. Anytime I have overfoiling happening, I just use my sanding eraser to erase the extra foil, and it works like a charm. Now that my foiling is done, it's time to heat emboss the coordinating stamped sentiment inside the foiled message. This is like a whole new way to make cards. Usually, we use coordinating dies after we stamp to cut the image out, but here I'm doing the opposite. I'm using stamps as the last step. To make it easier, I'm using my Mini Misty tool to be able to perfectly stamp these. I'm going to prep my paper for heat embossing. I'm going to ink up my stamps with Versamark clear sticky ink, stamp them, and cover with silver embossing powder. The next step is to heat set the powder and melt it, and boom, we have a gorgeous, clean and simple design in no time. I did not hot foil this perfectly in the center of my panel, so I'm going to trim it down slightly to have the sentiments centered on my card. Next, I foam mounted this panel onto an A2 white side folding card base, and finally I'm going to add some embellishments. I've already stamped, colored, and cut out 3 holly leaf clusters from this Merry and Bright stamp set, and I've also added a bunch of jewels from Pretty Pink Posh to spice this card up. Once everything is adhered, our card is ready to be popped in the mail or hand-delivered to the recipient. I hope you guys will give this idea a try. If you do make a card inspired by this video, would love it if you share your project online and tagged us on social media. We always enjoy seeing what you guys are making. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet done so. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye!